Hello and welcome to Best Replays of the Week. I am Luke Nella, just back from the Grand Finals. I hope that explains my broken voice. Well, this week we close the season with an Imperial Walker, a sniper too good to believe, and a Škoda on a rampage. Let's get to it. The AT-15A, also known as the AT-80, was the first British TD to arrive in World of Tanks. Kiva Yakatako takes the rolling bunker into a defensive fight on Karelia, and doesn't seem to have heard about the 17-pounder being underpowered. The fight takes place on an EU server, and the teams are packed with Tier 8 machines. Kiva's TD shuffles into position and starts hurling metal at the enemies. Both gun and armor plating are performing admirably as the AT-80 holds its ground against multiple opponents. The occasional APCR shell helps in dealing with the thickest armor. Time is running out and the enemies intensify their attack. The TD's armor is starting to buckle, but Kiva hangs on and destroys 2 more enemy heavies. One last hit puts the AT-80 at death's door, but the armor holds and the game ends in victory for the defenders. 6k blocked and dished out. Pretty impressive for a mid-tier TD with an underpowered gun, don't you think? Next we follow an LTTB in a Confederate replay. Their teammates would like to turtle, but Pishkati KRT feels a bit saucy, so has other ideas. The battle is fought over mines on the EU cluster with the LTTB on mid-tier. Pishkati takes control of the hill and starts harassing the enemies in all directions. The gun depression of this tank is terrible, but leaning over the edge can overcome that problem. The penetration power of the long gun and the sheer mobility of the LTTB make for a fearsome combination. When an enemy finally lands a return shot, it bounces off the thick front armor. The TDs of the team would like to hang back and turtle, but Pishkati is having none of that. When the tide turns to the team's favor, the reluctant allies finally find their courage and roll out from their stronghold. It doesn't really matter anymore though, the battle has been won and Pishkati is free to seek out and destroy the last remaining enemy. Nicely played, not only doing the most damage, but also keeping up the pressure when the team seemed ready to give up. The Škoda T50 is a powerful tank, so 123 Hillary from the EU region needed to be extra impressive to get on the show. Let's see it. Hillary takes the high ground in the east and puts the autoloader to work. Early on, the real danger seems to come from the enemy artillery. It looks like the Škoda is on the wrong flank, as most enemies are on the other side of the map. 2 kills get picked up, the second one uneyed, while the numbers shift more and more in the opposing team's favor. The base is getting captured, and it's time to go where the action is. The autoloader's burst damage and high penetration APCR shells make it perfect for picking off wounded enemies. 3 quick kills later, the base is clear, but all the allies are dead. Hillary is now fighting 1 against 6. The first one dies quickly, and the RT misses its shot. After the second kill, Hillary takes a moment to troll the enemy RT by pushing down a tree. Another capture attempt means going back on the defense. The Škoda is fast enough to pick its approach, and sure enough, the enemy is caught looking the wrong way. The autoloader's limitations come into play here, as a full clip isn't enough to put the enemy down. The enemy artillery misses its shot, probably having aimed at the wrong approach as well. The Panther gets Hillary down to 1 shot, but the reload finishes just in time. That was too close. That's 8 kills, but there are still 3 SPGs out there, and the broken ammo rack could become a problem. The first shot against the Tiga P fails, but the remaining shell gets the job done. The enemies are having no luck. The next RT responds with a snapshot, as does Hillary. Only the Škoda gets a second and third go, however, so it's an easy kill. The last RT is back at the base, and Hillary catches it with his pants down. Anyway, the fight is over in seconds, and the Top Gun is victorious. 11 kills with Karabanov and Pool medals. Impressive stuff, even with an OP tank. Well played. Moving on, we have a sniper game from the North American region. The SU-122-44 doesn't have a very accurate gun, but maybe Phoenix 1111 didn't get the memo. Standard Battle, Moravanka, and a top tier. Phoenix heads north and picks up 2 single-hit kills. The next handful of targets makes more work. But it's not long before the sniper is up to a top gun. The enemies are a little upset, but luckily they seem to have gone to the Imperial Stormtrooper School of Marksmanship. Back in cover and back on the hunt. The next 3 are clean one-hit kills. But the T-29 is stubborn and requires some effort to put down. Nevertheless, the enemies are down to a single TD, and our champion is up to 10 kills. The sniper's prowess is too much for the last opponent, who accuses Phoenix of hacking and rage quits the game. Our guess will consider the 11th kill a psychological victory. Shame about the last opponent. Hopefully they'll watch the show and see it was a fair match after all. Well played, Phoenix. The last replay for today is a crucial contribution also from the North American region. Hiro Hamata joins a Tier 9 battle on the Serene Coast and puts the Super in Super Pershing. Hiro follows a group of allies to the western flank and puts the Pershing space armor to good use. That's 4 kills and steel wool. Not a bad start. An allied Centurion dies in a push to the enemy base, but it does give Hiro an opportunity to do more damage. The last ally dies near the home base, leaving the Super Pershing alone with 4 opponents. A duel with the Su-100M1 ends in a victory, but one of the enemies has started a capture attempt. Hiro heads back and takes on the rival SP. Knowing the weak spots of your own tank sure comes in handy sometimes. An enemy arty rolls out to do battle, but their tank has the advantage here. It's hard to hide that gun shield, and the second shot puts the Dracula down for good. That still leaves a Tier 9 Waffenträger, but the opposing team complain about it being a bot or AFK. Either way, the last opponent is a free kill. An excellent game despite the AFK opponent. Hiro saved the day many times over and carried the team to victory. And that's it for this season. The next episode of International Best Replays of the Week will be after my 2-week holiday. Hopefully my voice will be better by then. So keep on tanking and sending us your replays. I'm Luke Neller. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Is it Waffenträger? Waffenträger. Träger. Waffenträger. That still leaves a Tier 9 Waffenträger. Sorry? Waffenträger! All right.